What's the largest trade you've ever made in Warframe? 500 platinum? 1000 platinum? Maybe even 5000. For most new players, this is probably the max you'll spend in one purchase. But have you ever wondered what the biggest trade in Warframe history was? While there's not much information on the largest trades, one infamous deal stands above the rest for both its sheer size and the buzz it created. A trade so massive it became a legend in the Warframe community. This is the Prime Chamber Incident. First, let's begin with why Prime Chamber was so valued. Back in July 5th, 2013, the third ever Warframe event began under the name Informant. Similar to the Fusion MOA event, players had to look for these new enemies, which spawned near the ceiling across various tile sets. They went by the name Informants, and players who killed 20 or more Informants received a Snipetron Vandal complete with an Orokin Catalyst, a free weapon slot, and a base Snipetron blueprint. However, what we really care about today was the reward granted to the top 100 Informant killers, a mod that had not been obtainable anywhere else. Primed Chamber. Upon first glance, it honestly seems pretty bad. Granted, at the time it was decent, and it was actually the first mod of the primed variety. However, it wasn't until the first actual primed mods that the rarity was increased. But what allured many collectors was its exclusivity. Given that it was only provided to the top 100 Informant killers, that meant that there were, currently, only 100 in existence. With that being said, I couldn't find much information on what it would have sold for immediately after the Informant event. However, a YouTube video made by Liquid Rain from 2014 shed some light on prices after some more had been circulating throughout the market. At this time, you could have picked it up for 6,000 platinum, which even by today's Riven standards is ridiculous. Now, I did say that there had been more circulating through the market. When Liquid Rain sold his copy of Prime Chamber, there were at least 102 in existence. The original sum from the ranked rewards, then there were 2 that were given out for both Devstream 17 and 18. However, there was a bug that occurred shortly after the October 20th, 2013 patch, which allowed it to be obtained via transmutation for a short period of time. We don't actually know how many copies were created by this bug, so we unfortunately cannot be certain of the amount of copies at that time. Let's be generous and assume 75 additional copies were created, bringing our total by this point up to 177. On January 30th, 2015, the Mirror the Mod contest was posted on the forums. The idea was to mimic the image displayed in a mod of your choosing. The first place prize was yet another copy of Primed Chamber. 2 months later, Devstream 49 gave out this mod to one random person, and lastly, Devstream 59 gave out one in September of 2015. Up to around 181 copies, there would then be a period of radio silence where no copies were created for 2 years. On February 17, 2017, DE began a charity stream for Extra Life, which is a fundraiser for children's hospitals around the world. This stream lasted for 72 hours, and after they reached $4,000 raised, they gave away another copy of Prime Chamber. It should be noted that around this time, a YouTuber uploaded 2 videos showcasing 2 separate trades where he gets about 50,000 plat per copy of the mod. The videos have a considerable amount of dislikes, but I can't say for sure why, since the comments are disabled on both videos. For the sake of brevity, they did giveaways for the mod for Devstreams 94, 107, 112, and 116, with 2 being given out for Devstream 121. During TennoCon 2017, DE Sheldon gave out 5 MTG cards, which could redeem either a legendary core or a copy of Prime Chamber. Let's assume everyone who got an MTG card claimed a copy. Then, finally, 2 more copies were given out during Quiet Shy's stream on January 16, 2019. This brings our total up to around 195 copies of the mod, 120 if you don't want to count the bugged ones. Now our story of one of the biggest recorded trades begins in Cologne, Germany in 2018. We will be following Reddit user AshenTao, who claims that they and one of their closest friends were at the Tenno VIP 2018 afterparty, where Rebecca and Megan gave away another copy to a random audience member. That audience member was Tao's +1. However, sometime after this happened, Tao's friend had to quit Warframe. Tao states that, quote, he wanted to stop playing Warframe about a month later due to IRL responsibilities, and gifted me and another close friend of mine the mod, unquote. You could think of it as someone giving away shares of a company to multiple people. Assume you gave 50% of shares to 2 people, you would split it 50-50 and they would both own 25%. This is a little more complicated with a Warframe mod since you can't split it in half, but I'm assuming there were no issues since it was one of Tao's closest friends. They both wanted to sell it, and according to Tao, the price of the mod by this point was an eye-watering 175 to 200,000 platinum. This was due to the insanely low supply of a highly coveted collector's item, since the Valentine's Day massacre hadn't happened yet, but we'll get to that. Eventually, they both settled on a price of 150,000, then began grinding credits for the enormous trade tax that would come with moving that much platinum. For the uninitiated, moving large amounts of platinum isn't just hard because of the trade tax, but because of the validity of said platinum. Either that person earned every single last drop of that platinum by trading or grinding rare items to sell, or they obtained it via illegal sources, hacking, exploits, or cloned credit cards. All of this could result in the platinum they get for the mod being removed from their account. If you've ever heard of people having negative platinum after a trade, this is why. To be safe, they reached out to support for supervision and made sure to record the entire process, hence the origin of this legendary screenshot. In yet another attempt to be as safe as possible, they held onto all of the platinum for an additional month, then agreed on a split of 50k against 100k and used it as a trade fund for the future. They ended up with a total of 267,000 plat, and they never heard from the buyer again. Around Valentine's Day of 2020, Baro Ki'Teer made his usual rotation, and to mostly everybody's surprise, this mod was in rotation for a whopping 3,000 Oregon ducats and 1 million credits. That being said, for the people who understood how significant this was, it could have been 10,000 ducats and they probably still would have bought it. A few videos were made on this, mainly reveling in the quote-unquote salty tears of all the collectors who spent hundreds of thousands of platinum on this mod. To be fair, it was public knowledge that the mod would come back at some point, though nobody expected it to be this sudden, nor in this manner. Immediately following this incident, the prices for Prime Chamber on Warframe.market tanked to around 300 to 400 platinum, or 0.175% the original price. While this is a very sad day for any investors looking to make ridiculous amounts of money, the rest of the community was quite thankful to DE for making this mod more accessible to anyone who wanted it. As of 12/11/24, the time of writing this script, the lowest price on Warframe.market is only 333 platinum, and it appears to hover around this price year-round. Well, that was quite the adventure. Before I started making this video, I honestly had no idea that the biggest trade was even close to like 20,000 plat, let alone 10x that amount. I'm still not sure if this is the largest trade ever made in Warframe history, and it probably isn't, but this is the most documented one of its scale for sure. If anybody does know anything that is potentially bigger or was made on a larger scale, please let me know in the comments. I'll probably pin it if it's actually that significant. Thanks again to Reddit user Ashen Tao for sharing their story, and I hope it made for an interesting video. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Warframe content like this, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.